And here we are. Good, I should say, good morning, good afternoon, Satia. Actually, this is, hello to everybody. My name is Matthew Porcelli. I am the ISRM North American Hub Chair, and I'm actually very, very privileged and blessed to be here with Satia Rai, who, you've seen us on LinkedIn quite often. However, we have first met about a month or two ago, right, Satia?
Yes, we did. You reached out and we've kept in touch, and I love to hear about you, your family, what's going on in America, and I equally love to share updates with yourself.
Well, thank you. But also, too, Satia is amongst a lot of other wonderful things that she does for the diversity in our security field, risk and security field. She's also the CEO of IPSA, the International Professional Security Association.
Well done, Matthew. We can now abbreviate as IPSA. Yes,
I'm getting better. I'm getting better with my acronyms. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I to be honest, I'm like you, Matthew. I don't really like them, but I think that many people refer to us as IPSA. So once you say IPSA, people will know exactly who you're referring to.
Well, you can't do that for ISRM. You could say
no. We can't. The institute. I know it's strategic risk management. Okay.
But actually, one of the beautiful things with the institute is that Satia and I are both fellows with the Institute of Strategic Risk Management, which is a high honor. Obviously. It was bestowed upon us, by Dr. David Rubens, our executive director for the ISRM. And one of the dreams of this inception was to put together a fellow-to-fellow conversation about, there's a lot of people that are out there that have a fellowship within these professional organizations, but they never really come out and talk as much, and that's why, Satia and I had come, put our heads together to put this, fellow-to-fellow series together to talk. And actually, one of the most important things, is to start the day or in the afternoon for me. And I think it's hilarious that I'm a Dunkin' guy. Dunkin' Donuts. I refuse to go past that. I'm old at heart. She's drinking a Starbucks and I'm drinking a Dunkin'. So if you want to talk about symmetry, that's really, really good. But no, everything's good. We were just talking about the Easter holiday, just getting our kids, and our, family, with the Easter egg, doing the Easter egg hunts and whatnot. And it's actually interesting because most people think that when it comes to security and risk management, it's got to be very guttural. No, if you really want to understand something, and Satya, I'm sure you bear with me on this, is that if you really want to understand something, you have to put context for your everyday life. I mean, we talked about the Easter bunny going around, as a, let's say maybe as somebody, because my kids had asked me, Daddy, why, and just like, Santa Claus, how does he get in the house? Or, just recently with the leprechaun for St. Patrick's Day, it's a new thing where they do the leprechaun trap. And, it's like, how did he get in the house? Well, he's got magic, or he or she, or that they have magic to get in. And, we have to think about that. The ones that we hold the dearest are the reason why, Satya, we're in this industry, right? Mm-hmm. And we want to protect those through not only thought, but practice as well. Because, you look at somebody like me, you think because of my short hair, I'm a detective. I'm not. Mm-hmm. That goes to the background and the diversity in our industry is that you don't need to be a retired FBI or SAS to be in this industry. Do you agree?
Oh, 100%. Matthew, it's, a lot of the work that I'm involved in and some of the initiatives I'm involved in are all about, I'm talking about, professionalizing the private security industry. And that is about it being a first career choice, not a second or third, or something that a lot of people have just stumbled upon. And these are the sort of, this is the sort of feedback we get generally from the current community that we have. But just to go back to our partnership, David reached out to me. I think it's been over a year now, and we thought about how we could partner together, how we could our partnership, what it meant to the front line, and we talked and discussed, and our partnership with the F.ISRM enables us to give back to the front line. To train and educate them on the various courses that are available through F.ISRM. And, David agreed to offer these courses to our frontline IPSA members for free. So these are, there's
that's something else we have in common. Not to interrupt you, we're frontline security officers too.
Yeah,
right?
There you go. Absolutely, 100%, Matthew. So when that happens, we're able to give back to the community, members of the community that are, let's face it, I wouldn't exist. I wouldn't be where I am now without our frontline community. And this is all about looking after our people, and then how do we bring more people into our industry? And it's about, showcasing that actually we look after our communities that are already here, and then how we actually bring more people into the industries that by doing the other initiatives, and a lot of the other work that I'm involved in is around equality, diversity, inclusion, and belonging. But look, we've sort of jumped ahead of our conversation, and in terms of introductions, yes, I'm CEO of IPSA. It's the largest security trade association and most progressive growing now. We are up to nearly 8,000 individual members.
Wow.
And this is the growth has been superseded my expectations. It's been phenomenal, and it's all about our membership. It's all about the communities that we serve. And how do we best do that out of public safety, etc. and so on. So, being CEO of IPSA is a huge honor and privilege, and so I see it as a way. What more do we do for the front line? How more do we get them engaged? How else can we look after them? So but the other initiatives that I'm involved in are I'm a board member of the Security Skills Board. There's a lot of work that's getting done in the background around the professionalisation of the private security industry through having a career pathway for professionals in our industry. So that there's a lot of work that goes into that. I'm also a member of the LGBT FM committee, and I'm also part of the International Security Expo advisory panel. And all this means is, Matthew, that you and me, I am able to reach and impact and influence a bigger proportion of the industry that I'm passionate about, and that's got to be a good thing. And when you said about Satia, let's have this fellow conversation, just fellow to fellow. So, like you, my priorities for the next, one of my key priorities for the next couple of days is being able to get Easter eggs in for the kids for Easter's coming up. So. We should not forget that. Of course, we've got day jobs, and the role that we do is important to us all and everyone around us. But equally, for me, it's about being real at every stage, authentic. It's about me being who I am here with you, as I am at home with my family, and etc. And I don't want it to take anyone else for anyone else in our industry, or anyone else thinking of joining our industry, for it to take them 25 years to be who they were in the workplace, like it did me. So,
and that's beautiful. No, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. That's brilliant, because you said a lot of key words, Satia, that I hope holistically agree with. It's that passion to really, and I guess because I'm Italian American, they say that if you do a lot with your hands, Again, an Italian American from Jersey, everybody thinks we just love The Sopranos. No, that's not. I was never a fan of that show personally, but it is all about passion. The thing is, too, they really hit on a great marker as well, Satia, is that, and it's something I know that myself, have really kind of observed. No pun intended, because I know we observed it before as part of as part of our, no matter where we sit, and you achieved a lot. I've been very blessed with what I've achieved as well. I've noticed though that there's a lot of tippiness to move forward in the field. And I want to say this right off the bat. I have the highest respect for our law enforcement and military. I've worked as an auxiliary police lieutenant. Actually, I volunteered as an auxiliary police lieutenant with a municipality, and I was a 911 police dispatcher. I worked with a lot of state police and whatnot there, alongside them with internship. Very, very respectful people. Also, thanks to, all the organizations, obviously ISRM, ASIS, IFPO, just like yourself. I've met a lot of global military, former, past, and present, as well as law enforcement from around the globe. So highest respect for those individuals. I just want to make a point in saying that. I've noticed, though, a lot of individuals a lot of professionals don't go, for the higher level positions because they fear they have no chance. The perception is, and I'm just going to go based on what I've seen as a frontline practitioner for the past 20 years, and I'm sure you've seen this too on your side of the pond, that a lot of, let's say, CSOs, so your chief security officers, chief risk officers, again, many, and again, this is just an objective stance that I've noticed. Like I said, a lot of C-suite, or even not even C-suite. Let's say if you're in the contract realm, many, not all, many will see your resume and say, "All right, former NYPD, former, let's say work for MI5 or just something," and then like, wait a minute, all right, we need that person. But people don't realize that in the security and risk management field, if you don't have a customer service, or you went from being able to take away somebody's freedom, now if you don't say hello to somebody or treat somebody, it's not like you went from taking away somebody's freedom now to, if you don't greet somebody correctly, you get a phone call. I think that, and it's a shame too, because I think a lot of our frontline our frontline family, our friends, because I think once you're a security officer, you're always a security officer. Even those that don't even have security as a background, we have and again, it's a very male-dominated, because I'm the first to admit, we don't have enough females or diversity in these C-suite positions. It's almost like, how do we, and that's why I think the passion comes with is that, and mentoring is, because I know with me, like, I had a lot of great, mentors as well, a lot, and I'm sure you have as well. But I think one of the main things with this fellow to fellow, discussion that we're having is that don't acquiesce to defeat, at least the way I look at it, to our, don't never acquiesce to defeat thinking you're not going to get it just because you don't have just a strict security background. And if you're not a Caucasian male, let's say, like myself, in the industry, because we need diversity in the industry, because quite frankly, our aggressors, the bad guys, they may have one up on us because, again, they know our weaknesses as well. So, I mean, I'm sure, forgive I'm not spilling that out more or less. I get off my soapbox, but that 20 years that used to drive me nuts, that a lot of really good people never got positions because of this preconceived notion, is just because somebody has, a military background, say, hypothetically, they don't have a chance to get in.
Yeah, I do not agree, Matthew, on all the points, and I didn't, I'm also, I didn't mention, I'm also chair of the Security Industry Equality, Diversity, Inclusion and Belonging Forum, and again, that's key stakeholders from across the industry coming together, and the vision is we're a couple of months into this initiative of ours, and it's about creating something for our industry, and actually outside the industry, in terms of a standard where we can include a small business, medium business, alarm receiving technicians, electricians, all the security service providers across the industry, as many as we can, and creating a standard in terms of people, and then gifting that out, because we don't want it to be the bigger businesses, all the organizations all the time that can invest and so on, that can create strategies and recruit people in their positions and so on. So the EDI forum was created as that we want to, if we want our industry to be inclusive for everybody, let's come together, let's create something. And it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're a new startup in a business and etc. Even if you're a training provider, we've got one focal point to go to. We've got one standard where people can, where our industry can go to and say, do you know what? This is how we become more inclusive, to include women. We talk about women at the moment because that's high on the agenda, and approximately about 10% of our industry is made up of women, and there's a lot of work that is going on behind the scenes, and some of it that you touched on, which is about the role model piece, it's about the mentoring piece. If I go back into and there were, can I pinpoint and pick out any females in leadership positions, was absolutely, it was difficult for that to happen. But now look at it. You've got Heather Bailey's the chair of the regulator, the SIA now. Her colleague Michelle Russell is the chief executive. The ACES representative for the UK chair is Letitia's a lady. We've just had a lady that was appointed into the UK Crowd Management Association. She's the chair's a lady now, so that's great. It's Anne-Marie, brilliant, wonderful lady. And then you've got the Security Institute, and that's Julie now. I mean, that is almost like remarkable, and that is how we need to we need to sort of like the community, the rest of our industry can now aspire, look up to, and think, wow, anybody can come at frontline level, whether they're leaving school, they're in school, and think, do you know what? There's a real place for us to serve the communities, protect the communities, and really be part of an industry where it really cares for its people. We are not there yet, Matthew. There's a long way to go. There's a 164-year history that we have the private security industry, and it's only in the last 4 years that we have really made any headway in terms of that people piece. But look, progress is being made now, and they've got all of the industry annual awards now have, they've got Female of the Year, or how they recognise female excellence, and then you have the Women in Security Awards and etc. So we just had the International Women's Day, and we celebrated women from across the industry. It was a fantastic celebration, and that was again historical and monumental, never ever been done before, Matthew. All these initiatives and so on, I want people to come to them and pledge and this is the one thing we will take away, and this is whether it's we change how we recruit, what inclusive language we utilize in the recruitment process, and also the one thing I do love doing is that I have access to various platforms, stages, and opportunities, and for me, every year from whatever your background, whether you're a diverse background, whether you're part of the LGBT community, whether you're female, and etc., the ethnic minorities, that bring these people together to give them a voice, and we are now seeing a huge change. It's not the same corporate, same leaders. We are now, we've got frontline operatives now coming to speak at these events. We've got the younger generation and so on. So, but Matthew, there is a big bit of work that needs to be done, but a lot of progress that is being made. And the likes of myself, Lisa Bascott, another colleague of mine, Amina Ahmed, these are women that are leading the way, pioneering the way for this change. And even up to 2 years ago, I could never have sat here and boasted all these incredible things to you, Matthew, but I can now.
And it's extremely impressive stuff, and again, like you also said, we're not there yet. And again, yeah, it's, we live in a very impatient society. Unfortunately, patience, again, I will admit, it's not my strongest suit, I guess because for whatever reason, but it does take time. It doesn't happen overnight. And but just think of the amount of just females, anybody from a diverse background that don't, it takes a lot of proactive individuals to help push them forward, because the way I look at it, no one's going to do it for you. Some, again, you have people, obviously, you and I advocate, for our young professionals, our females, those transitioning, those transitioning from law enforcement to military that actually they want to learn from us because they know it's a different animal. They know that, private sector is completely different. I mean, maybe it has a little same of the nuances, but it's very much different. In time, we will get there, but at the same token, that's why, and another thing I want to bring up too, which is I know the ISRM, and this as well, being, very much involved as I am, is that they bring a pracademic approach into it, which is the practitioner and the academics. I think a big reason why security and risk leaders are not at the C-suite. I mean, we are at the C-suite, not in the capacity we should. The way I look at it, we got the chair close to the table. We're like back here. We need to get, if I could get visual without falling off my chair, that way. We have to get closer to the table, and it's because we try to, us as security professionals and risk professionals, to really obtain that C-suite, we have to know the language of the C-suite. But we have to just keep our ears to the ground and our ears open. I think that's one of the things as well, is that for pracademic, obviously, David Rubens has said that, I've got that word from him and I've used it, quite often, is that to go from I feel the consensus is that security and risk is seen more as operational. In a sense, to us, it's not, it is and it isn't. It's more strategic. And that's the whole point, is that doing, like, so for example, doing patrols for tours, I use it as an example. I like to, use it as an example. An operational security or risk professional will go conduct a patrol just to find a point. The strategist, before that all happens, will ascertain what is the best way the aggressor can leverage. Like, so for example, if I take the same patrol route every evening at 1700 hours or 2100s going down the same corridor, my movements are tracked. And that's why strategically, again, yes, there's an operational factor into it, but also too, and I bring this where the pracademics portion is, because we have a lot of, we meaning, between you and I with our experience, but also for, I know with the ISRM and these other organizations that you and I are part of, is that there's benchmark, reports and practice that substantiates this. And I think that also helps us to get that, seat closer to the C-suite table or to the client. I mean, some of us, may not be at the C-suite table yet. However, at the same token, Satia, we have to be prepared. I think that's like, when I've mentored, young professionals and those that are trying to get into the field, females, young professionals, even seasoned professionals, because I'm a big proponent of reverse mentoring. I've learned stuff from people I've mentored. I know myself, and I've noticed that in a strategic sense, you learn from what has already happened, I guess, and the way, because just like nothing could be 100%. There's no such thing that something could be a facility or a fixed asset could be 100% mitigated of risk. It just doesn't happen. It'd be nice, but it doesn't happen. And too, that's why, when it comes to these conversations, like you and I, we didn't go, and again, to our listeners and viewers, we don't go off script. Satia and I are very, we're very fluent, and because we're talking from experience, and what we've seen in what we'd like to see change, and what should change. But at the same token, you have to get that experience, and I'm assuming you agree too. I know I'm taking up too much time.
I love the way you described that operational and sort of like risk factor and etc. and so on. And so a couple of things I'm just thinking, that to get in terms of how all that strategy gets created, in terms of all these ideas around this and etc., comes from diverse thinking, innovative thinking. And to put it in its simplest form is that can only happen with a diverse set of individuals, people coming together and making decisions, whether it's client based, whether it's service based, or whether it's people based. So, and let's not. You mentioned about like the ISRM, and I know that we've established the Women in Security ISRM. I was actually at an event. I was at one of the events, and it, I got to speak to people from all over the world in terms of, and it was great to talk about what's important, what's going on in Canada, what was going on in America, and what was, what were our focuses here, and just general updates. And if you hadn't picked up and said, look, by the way, Satia, let's have this conversation fellow to fellow. I loved that. I just thought, wow, I'm now I've got to know you as we're fellows, of the ISRM. I've got to know a little bit about you, your role, your family, etc., and so on. And that's that people piece. That's that bit that when we actually talk about it, and we've kept that going. And really, ideally, that's how we should be for every person that comes into our industry should just be their complete self. And what, I know you probably won't appreciate, but I'm going to say happy belated birthday to you, for Friday. And today is the celebration of Holi. And so people in India are celebrating spring and victory of good over evil. So today's is Happy Holi. So I want you to, look, by the way, Happy Holi. So this, the biggest, the most, the largest democracy in the world, and my Indian background is that we celebrate Holi today.
Well, so you as well, then.
So they look. If we don't engage, if we don't have these conversations, if we don't have this, community engagement, fellow to fellow, how were we actually going to, progress? And I tie in that. Look, if we are being inclusive in the roles that we do in our industry, there is a connection and the impact that could have in terms of deterring crime and in terms of that terrorism piece and etc. is huge. I mean, I was at a counterterrorism when a lady gave a talk on counterterrorism and about the demographics, who these people are and so on, in terms of how terrorists are born and so on, and a huge piece. There was a huge number of these people that go on to commit these terror attacks are actually vulnerable people, are people that are victims of domestic abuse, men and women. So imagine raising that awareness in the workplace that we have, in the societies that we belong to. There is a direct, it would impact in terms of what we are trying to, do, which is all about public safety.
And if you think about it too, just briefly, because I know we're towards the end here. You and I we talk. And listen, it's always a pleasure. I love talking to you, Satia, because again, we share a lot of the same foundational background and want to see the same things. But I've noticed too, like I said, it's just like you mentioned with the work, with communication, everything is now text messages, text and emails. The guise of an email, I mean, yes, I mean, pragmatically, you can't always make a phone call, but, if you have something important you want to say to me or somebody, call me. I'd rather hear the voice than somebody hiding behind the guise of an email, even though not intentional. But again, like I said, it's definitely, more to come. With that, Satya, thank you so much for,
Matthew, it's been a pleasure. I'm looking forward to seeing more of these. I know that we're going to have
likewise.
a series. I'm really excited for you to be engaging with other colleagues and for you giving others a platform in this environment. So it's been a pleasure. Enjoy Easter. All my love to the kids and
thank you, and you and your family as well.
And we'll catch up soon.
Okay. Well, everybody take care and be safe. All right. And don't stop trying.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, everybody.